Good morning, people of internet land. Welcome back. You join me in the early morning, I would say the early morning hours, it's 8 o'clock. Board 99, we're just leaving high school. Before I clear the windshield, I would like to point out the fact it started to rain. Why am I pointing out the fact that it started to rain?
The wrong button. That's okay.
Sorry. Why am I pointing out the fact that it started to rain? Because that's the first bit of rain we've had in over a month. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating, Matt.
142 to Station 1.
Shut up! Yeah, so you remember we had the hurricane that came through. Well,
Okay.
after the hurricane, we got nothing. Like, there was one little after shower that came like the day after the hurricane, and then we got nothing. Usually October is a rainy month for us. It's October 30th today as I record this, and we have not had any rain since Hurricane Helene. There's burn bans in effect. People have been told not to burn off tree debris from the hurricane because it's so dry. No rain was in the forecast. My thing right here still says, go away Siri. My thing right here still says 0% chance of rain. But yeah, as we were pulling into the high school, it very slightly started to rain. And it lasted all of maybe 60 seconds. But you know what? I'll take it. So, my new head strap for the GoPro finally came in. If you're wondering why I had to get a new one, because my old one got lost. And I cannot for the life of me figure out where it is. I thought once I ordered the new one that I would find it, because there we go, rain picking up. I thought once I ordered the new one I would find the old one, because that tends to be my luck with that sort of thing. It turns out that didn't happen at all. So I ordered a new one. And I had already been thinking about it because the old one I had was like, I thought it was a GoPro official one. Turns out it wasn't. It was like a Chinese knockoff that I got on Amazon. So this time I actually went to GoPro's website and got their official one, and wouldn't you know it, this thing is a heck of a lot more comfortable to wear than the old one. So yeah, I'm fine with that. Raindrops. First time I've said that in, I kid you not, a month. I need to go vote today. I've got some other errands I've got to run in town, so I'm going to do that while I'm at it. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because as we all know, politics is a touchy subject in America. And I would rather this just be a channel that you can watch and not have to deal with that. Actually, that being said, what are the odds that you got a political ad before this video? You clicked on this video, you got a political ad, then you got to watch the video. Tell me in the comments if you did. I'm curious. I'm definitely looking forward to this election being over with. Anyway, enough about that topic, because like I said, it's a touchy subject in America. We are just on our way back to the bus yard now. I was going to, like, with the intent of recording this, I was going to drive over to the pressure washer when I got back to the yard and wash off a couple parts of the bus. Depending on if the rain stays or not, I might not do, I probably won't do that actually. I'll probably just park it for today. But I was gonna do that because, you know, the hurricane decided to destroy our bus wash. Not that it was built to withstand a hurricane, because it wasn't. Hello. Yeah, but it didn't. The back half of it, I think, survived, but the front half just completely caved in and collapsed. The tarp roof that's actually on the bus wash, or was, they found it ripped off sitting on top of spare bus 59, 58, 59, one of those. There's somebody getting Bojangles. Yeah, so the bus wash has been out of service, which means that all the buses are getting dirty. But why would I even try to clean it now if it's starting to rain? It's so weird. You don't realize how long it's been since you've seen rain. We went from getting way too much rain leading up to the hurricane and the day of the hurricane to absolutely nothing for a month. There's one of the many tree debris trucks. Those things are everywhere. You cannot drive around town at all without seeing a few of them. I've seen several on my bus route, actually. I've got a neighborhood I go into that the tree debris piles that were in people's yards and in the road, and they've stacked them up right at the edge of the road. Some of those stacks are so high, so tall, I mean, that I'll have a kid standing in his driveway and I can't see him until I literally get right up next to him because the tree pile is so tall. But I came in that neighborhood yesterday and they had a pair of those trucks in there. One was coming out and one was there loading, getting stuff out. Those trucks are so tall too. There's a power line in that neighborhood that's already low by my standards, which this bus is, I'm not sure how tall this bus is. I think 9 feet, 12 feet. No, it's more than 9 feet. It's like 11 feet, 12. I don't know how tall this bus is. Whatever. I mean, I can get under that power line, but it's, you know, it makes you kind of hold your breath. How that truck got under it, I don't know, because I came by him and he had probably that far to spare. I was like, dude. But yeah, I've still got multiple power lines on my route that are way too low. I say way too low. I can get under them, but it makes you pucker up a little bit. Some of them are a little bit lower than that one that I just went under, where you look at it but you're like, all right, I got a foot and a half, something like that, and it's like, okay, that's acceptable. I have one power line, I wish I had a picture of it. It is, I kid you not, all of 7 inches, if that, above my strobe light. Because as you know, the strobe light is really the tallest point on this bus, the way it sticks up back there. And the strobe lights have like a metal guard on top of them that's got a slope in the front. So in theory, if you hit something, that guard will deflect it and it'll kind of just slide over the light instead of knocking it off. But it's still one of those situations where I'm like, if it's that close, I'd rather not try it. I've already submitted one report about it, and nothing's been fixed, so at some point I need to go do that again. Half a tank of fuel, so I don't need to refuel today, but probably after tomorrow morning, or maybe tomorrow afternoon if I get lucky. It depends. like I've said before, there's another tree truck. Like I've said before, I only have a 60-gallon tank in this bus, whereas most of the younger C2s have 100-gallon tanks, so it makes you think a little bit more. If you see the bricks right there that don't match the rest of that building had like the entire side just kind of caved in during the hurricane, so they've been rebuilding that for the past few weeks. Other than that, not a whole lot has changed. I hope y'all enjoyed the little vintage, I say vintage, the little retro camera video that I posted yesterday. I don't know when I'll upload this. If you want to get one of those cameras for yourself, but this is not product placement, by the way. They didn't ask me to do anything. I just saw it, thought it was interesting, got one. It's called a retro snap, and it's basically this little digital camera that fits in the palm of your hand. There's another tree truck. It makes my GoPros look huge. That's how small it is. Like it's smaller than this clicker. It is tiny. Holy cow, this traffic. Goodness. But yeah, it's very, very small. But it's a little digital camera that's designed to take pictures and videos that have that late 90s, early 2000s kind of look to them. So I literally just brought it with me to the bus yard and started filming. I filmed some of this bus, and then I walked over to where the bluebirds were sitting and filmed some of those, because I figure those bluebirds are probably what you would have actually seen on a camera like that back in the day. Probably wouldn't have seen a C2 much. Although I say that, the C2 came out in 2004. So, I mean, it could have been. I'll take that. Yep, there's another tree truck. Like I said, they're absolutely everywhere. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much over a month away from the hurricane now. There's some part of the county that look completely fine and they've recovered entirely, and then there's some parts of the county that absolutely have not. And I see some of that on my route. There's some tree debris there. I see some of that on my route. You go down a road and nothing's happened. They've pushed the stuff just far enough out of the road that you can drive through, and the rest of the road looks like a bomb went off. It's definitely going to take a while to clean up absolutely everything. This light, these two amber lights right here, the one on that side somehow got rotated during the hurricane. So if you come down this road, you had a amber light and a red light flashing at you at the same time, and then if you were coming from the side road, you had a red light and an amber light flashing at you. So it didn't bother me, and it didn't bother people who are normally here, because we knew what it was supposed to be. But if anybody that wasn't from this area came through, they were like, what the heck? What is this guy doing? Nice, Kenworth. Alright, almost there. Yeah, you get 18-wheelers coming down this road a lot. There's a log, like a lumber yard down there, and there's a grain elevator down there, and a rail yard. So you get a lot of random 18-wheelers coming in and out. That shed collapsed during the hurricane. hasn't been rebuilt. All right, I guess this Honda's waiting for me. I was gonna say I didn't turn my blinker on, but it doesn't really matter in that regard because I'm in a bus, so you can kind of tell where I'm going. Oh, the fuel tanker's here. Look at that. He's filling up our in-ground tanks. There's both of our white top 07 twins. There's one of them, and there's the other one. I'm just assuming you can see that by the way I'm contorting my head. I guess I'll find out in the edit. This is the only design flaw of this yard, so to speak, is that when he's here filling up the tanks, which are there, he kind of blocks up the alleyway. That's okay. I don't need fuel today, or not right now anyway. Yeah, so here's our 25s. They're about to be put in service late this week. Those 5 spare buses are getting retired. All 3 of our remaining Bluebirds and 2 of the first gen CEs. Which as a driver, I won't miss them, but as a passenger, honestly, it kind of will. They were really nice to ride on as a student. The seats were short. The AC was usually good, actually. And, you know, there's plenty of leg room. They were loud, but as long as you sat behind like the first few seats, you know, they weren't that loud. But me being me, I always sat up front. Here's that 118. All right, that's off, that's off. Shut the strobe off. Bada bing, bada boom. Turn all that off, shut that off. They changed our procedure for the inspections again. We're now back to how we used to be. You do a pre-trip and post-trip every single run, instead of one half day, not the other, kind of weird crap that didn't make any sense. So now we just do this every time. You'll notice, I stick the odometer in here, 199,000. Just the other day, I hit officially 10,000 miles that I personally have put on this bus. No. We'll go to review and I'll show you what I mean. If I go scroll all the way back, way the heck back here to January of this year. I'm just assuming you can see the tablet from on my head. Wait, there's December. There we go. Very first pre-trip of January would have been the first time I was officially on this bus. 188,704, and just the other day I hit 198,704. So now we're at less than 1,000 miles to go before 200, and she's holding up pretty well. Fingers crossed. I shouldn't have said that. Great. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood to knock on. I guess my forehead. My forehead's hard. There we go. Clocked out. Good. Shut that off. Obviously didn't go back to low idle because that would make too much sense. Everything else is off. I give the brake pedal a nudge. Go back down to low idle. You can hear the turbo whining down in there. Let it catch its breath for a second. And that's how you do that. We'll go back here. Check for people, which I already did, but I'll do it again anyway. Punch that, and we're good to go. I'm about to go ballistic on my kids for leaving trash everywhere. I tell them all the time, we have 2 trash cans. Freaking use them, please. But they don't. So I'm legitimately about to ban food on this bus. And if you're wondering why, it's because somebody decided to smash a Skittle into my floor. That happened the other day, and I just left it there because I was legitimately so pissed off that I was like, I can't even be bothered to deal with it right now. And if you're wondering how you get a Skittle up off the floor, it has currently been smashed / melted into the floor. It's almost fused with the floor. So you have to get a pocket knife or a blade or something and sit there and, you know, scrape it off. So there's your life lesson for today. Don't be a twat waffle. Right. Let's go grab. I know the floor's a mess. I just feel like I say that every video. Oh, sorry, my floor's a mess. But if I tried to keep this floor pristine, like, I'd be sweeping and polishing it every freaking day, and I just don't have the care or the time to do that. I need to retape that seat. That's not vandalism. That's just the seat being old. They wear out right along these creases. My duct tape's falling off. Yeah. So I literally swept it out yesterday. Not even kidding. Swept it out yesterday evening specifically, and one run this morning, and it looks like a bomb went off. Because it would make too much sense for me to have a clean bus. I've tried explaining to these kids that I'm like, y'all realize, y'all ask me all the time if we can get a newer bus. But what they don't know is I intentionally tell my superior, or ask them anyway, I don't tell them, but I'm like, please do not give me a newer bus until I have to. Because if they make such a disaster of this old one, I know for a fact they're not going to take care of a new one. And if they're going to treat it like that, then I'd just rather have an old one. Because the floor in this bus is so old that it looks old. Even after you clean it, it just looks old and nasty. So can you imagine if they did that on a floor that was already pristine? Like, I just... Like I said, it would make too much sense to use your brain. But anyway, 99's doing well so far. I don't know why I kicked the tires. I'm not pre-tripping. Hey, how's it going? I also don't know why Siri just randomly turned on. Okay. That's not weird at all. Huh. Alright, well, that's a little vlog for you. I know that wasn't terribly interesting, but thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to stick around. Other than that, that's all I've got for right now. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.